Mark lives in Astoria, New York. His first full-length collection, Astrometry Orgonon, was published by Blazevox Books in 2008. He's the author of 5 chapbooks. Poems, Stripped of Artifice, which was the winner of the New School 2007 Chapbooks Contest. Traceland, 29 Cheeseburgers, Film Poems, and City Temple. Another full-length collection is due out from the Black Radish Publishing Collective in January 2010. Additionally, his manuscript, Sometimes Things Seem Very Dark, Poems for Francesca Woodman, was a finalist for the ahsahta Press 2009 Sawtooth Poetry Prize. His work has been published in print and online in Fence, miPoesias, Jubilat, Denver Quarterly, Conduit, Lungfull, and many others. In 2006, he started Gist Press, a micropress focusing on ekphrastic poetry. Please welcome Mark Lamoureux.
Thank you. I didn't know there'd be so many students. I might have chosen some different stuff, but that's okay. I'm just going to read one poem, long-ish, not tremendously long, in 10 sections. You don't have to clap after each section. I feel like a Las Vegas magician. And the reason why I chose this poem to read is because it came out of my teaching at Queensborough to a certain extent. Last semester, I had some students who were Bukharan Jews from Uzbekistan, and these students, whenever they would turn in a paper, whenever they would write on something, they'd put this little glyph up in the upper right-hand corner of their paper, which meant, eventually, I saw this glyph over and over. And a glyph is a little marking, and I would see it over and over again on these papers until I finally asked one of them, what does this mean? And they told me it means with God's help. And so every piece of paper they write on, they put this glyph on. So this got me thinking about sort of the textuality of religion, which means that no matter which religion we are, it usually comes to us through books, through the written language, right? And around about this same time, I went to a Passover Seder at my girlfriend's family's house. And I also started thinking about Passover, which also has a lot to do with writing, because it's about the glyph on the door jamb, to keep away the angel of death. It's a marking, a physical marking, right? It's writing. So this is a poem about Passover, and each section is one of the 10 plagues. But this is thinking about sort of the way that Judeo-Christian religion is rooted in words in some ways, especially Judaism. There's a couple vocab words in this, only a couple ones that are really going to be. Ufaga is a species of frog, and something called the Tetragrammaton is in the old Hebrew Bible, the name of God, they wrote without consonants. So the name of God was 4 letters, J-H-W-H, Yahweh, and that's what that was, those 4 letters, which became pretty famous, or a thing people would talk about in terms of religion. So this is Pesach. 1. Smitten river, Carenia a blossom, amphora full of sigil blood. Whose blood? Unveined names, life from no vessel. Let these be the many. Smack of copper monikers on the marked lips. Ink in my mouth stains the containers. The little cracks like crimson xylem. Quick spill of the ones to fall later, seeping up from the stabbed deep land. 2. Ufaga chromatic. Red rain of legs from cloud forms. A great laughing O. Leaping in skittery waves, cobbles dark with the dung of them. amphibian and harem bed upon leaves, eaves thudding with their small bones. Underfoot, a carpet that writhes and bleeds and expires. A million domes of sighted little eyes. To live and die for this and this alone. Hard the heart, harder still the part to play, flattened underfoot and heaped, a hill of flashing skin. 3. Translucent bodies fed on man ink. Little commas, full stop upon neck or haunch, fat with graphomania. Smacked on or shut in a page, bleeding names, a million creeping marks, mark a person or scroll. Little legged letters that bite, tetragrammaton spokes, fingers that point and suck with mandibles, masticated skin embroidered with smarting runes. This is the poem of Jah. 4. The sign took wing, dark index finger, a TV snow shadow roiling over vermin-littered scapes, swarm cloud of humming phonemes, a rumble in the throat, a dumbrate's said murmur of wings. In eyes and hair, little touches upon skin, the patter of viscous legs, traceries of same upon bare walls, invisible glyphs raised and erased by the goings of them, a blur through the land. Illuminated onyx, compound eyes observe eye, the rod of same upright in the midst, spewing black drifts like a lighthouse spins and spews day. 5. Murrain sigh, beast struck by no butcher, these food for the invisible, returning to the ground along with what would spring up in time from besanguined soil. Pasture lowing, quiet, had descended to the noise of infinity, no trilling in ears, as always, the voice of blood speaking to the brain, sidereal argo. Some succumbed to a vegetable silence, all but those marked, rodent patterned, as though daubed by a ghost brush. Wen Chang, the blotted speech of time, spilt upon hide, a codex of what was known to these animals, flesh not meant for man's mouths, but instead the gullet of ubiquity. Lay down upon the ground, spotted, braille for the fingers of the ill wind. 6. A sash of dust, an alveolar swath that blasts flesh. Land it opens an eye of reprisal, or a mouth that mutters pustulant syllables. Preposition-tailed sentence that ends when. The verse of universe, a polysyllabic scream of cells. Tissues fomenting, as is wont, the corporeal's conflagration. Each thing the page that wraps the shroud for the living, which erased erasure, a scar, a history, history a scar, what is promised is obliterary. A book and a pyre, page to page, ashes to boils, boils to eye, to the page of the air, the page of the clouds, the letters inventing themselves in the bubble of heaven. 7. Canopy clattered with the thrum of ice. Quick bounced upon cobble and roof, skittering into spirals, rolling into corners where planes meet. Likewise, the sky a rumble with clashing fronts. Water meets the mirror, plates shift, groan, air meets ether, the here and the after sloughing off, ice and fire like dome pieces. Stanchion of collision, shriek of curses and water, the glass eyes unlidded, and so it persisted, like the sun in lit darkness, radiant scar like a hole in the firmament. Sleep holes and leaves, limbs blackened or bent by this or the other. 8. Still more little legs, verdant sky seraphs, winged, thoraxed, violined legs etching psalms into glass. A mast, masticating, a shadow sucking down battered wheat, fruit cooked on the vine, seeped ink through thirsty paper. This in the sphere staying still, disdain for all creeping little agents, seasoned pilgrims who still alight like ruin. Blight of no almanac, this, but instead the burning book of time, inkless and unprinted, but lettered by tiny tears, gouged by claw and mandible, twitching shadow that slid across the sheaves like a script. 9. Like a glyph arisen from wall cracks, flourishes on stoneware, it reared a curtain of ivy, the black sheen of vacuum. mark of closed eye, look this way, into the lips of the divine. Light displaced from word, star from sky to be grasped, like sand in gentle hand, clenched and Nova-hearted amoeba whose darkness is sunshine for impossible flowers, blooms an impossible alphabet. The carpet of same, which is the book of this life, and the one before and the one after, which is what was wrought for peering into and letting go of. And 10. Words are the life of the Lamb. Throat blood sign on each page, lintel marked with the help of fluid angels like cooking smoke above hovels. Singed skin marked with turning away scripture of dust. Emerald snow of tiny leaves, salt of branded fire, climbing coal tendrils, the nighttime clouds and smoke, and the other things upon the wind, faces, sigils, wings of smoldering hearth strophe, the night blue tongue of moon, piping splattered stars, reflected in swath of sanguine, the small cries, silences, no bubble of yeast expiration, the colonial walls, posts, the wandering, the sign begins, the waiting, the turning away, all worlds long. Patrilinear line broken, the air an enemy, the clouds, the coagulating gore, this other blood, the rushing past or the halting full stop, silenced organ pipe, the heart star, the delta ergo makes not a door through the door, the end and the beginning, the long vector, the longer pain, the storm front of tongues, the wool lightning, the thunderclap with no end.